Good afternoon. I am thrilled to present His Excellency André Azoulay, the counselor to His Majesty the King of Morocco, Mohammed VI, and who has recently founded Beit Dakira, the House of Memory, in his hometown Essaouira, which is a common house to show and celebrate and research the deep bonds between Jews and Muslims in Morocco. And so today we're thrilled to have you as part of, and very honored to have you as part of this event that is holding for the Cambridge Festival. And so I'd like to ask you, the first question is, what is your own personal relationship to music?
Yeah, but first of all, let me again thanking you for having me for this program, which is very dear to my heart. And music, if I may say, is my safety net. It's my raison d'être et de vivre. It was the case forever in my life long journey, and it is still the engine, the central engine for me when it comes to catch people together, to have them together. And I have to tell you that based on my experience, especially in my hometown in Essaouira, music made miracles and give us the chance to have together, I mean, the full circle of the different civilization, different sensitivities, of diversity in a big scale, being together, listening to each other, and enjoying life together. I mean, music has achieved for me all what was impossible to achieve when it came to try to catch people on the philosophical issues or on political issues or cultural issues. Music is magic. It creates and it achieves goals which I was working for my whole life to try to make it true. And I'm so proud of that, and I'm so rewarded by that. I mean, it was not as clear as it is for me at the very beginning of my journey, but now I know that with music, everything is possible.
So I want to follow this up with a question about those in the festivals in Essaouira. One of the things that we feel very often is this sense of intimacy between all the festival goers that are celebrating within their diversities, this deep closeness. And what can you say about how the dynamics of this work?
Well, I started to have music as a key element, the key factor, the key player to give a chance for my city, Essaouira, Mogador, to rebound. This city was the capital of Morocco in the 19th century, and then it declines for decades. And when I was appointed by His Majesty, the late King Hassan II, in 1991, I was, so pleased when the king agreed that, serving him was also serving my hometown to rebound. And I didn't find anything more powerful, more meaningful, and more creative and new than to call on music not only for enjoying music as usual, or to call on culture for aesthetic reasons, or something like that. I said I have to send or to express this wake-up call in my region, in my home, in my hometown, by something no one is expecting: music. And the first festival I founded, was the Gnawa World Music Festival. The Gnawis are, as you know, the Afro-Moroccan citizens. They were stigmatized, they were ostracized, they were ignored by all of us for centuries. They were put aside. And I was remembering the time where the best jazzmen in the 70s and the early 80s were visiting Essaouira. And I found some, vinyl records who were, giving the possibility to the most famous Ma'alem of Essaouira to play with the most famous jazzmen or women of that time. And I said, so the Americans, they knew before us how close the gambri was to the bass, and this very, very thin but so powerful capillarity between the blues and the Gnawa music. And also, the symbol. All what we know about the jazz roots and all what we know about the Gnawa music are so close. In terms of values, in terms of challenges, in terms of stigmatization. And I said, why not just to enter this gate opened by the jazz long time ago and see what we can do. And so at the first edition, nobody was, really understanding what was going on, saying, well, this guy is a little, he wants to have a festival, a big festival, with the people who are the most, put aside in the Moroccan society. And they are the black people, the former older slaves, will not work. I said, okay, let's try. First edition with just a very modest visibility, publicity. There were close to 30,000 people attending. We were all very, very surprised, and it was something which was unbelievable. So many people came to Mogador and Essaouira, but they didn't find the way to try to have a piece of bread, because everything was, tout a disparu en quelques jours. On ne s'attendait pas à ce rush. So second edition, close to 100,000. And then larger and bigger and more, and we arrived to 600,000, and it was too much. And it was a little risky. So we decided, we have at that time 12 stages, and we decided with the organizers, Naila Tazi and the others, to split and to have just 6 or 7 people, to have less people attending. Could you imagine? We organizers, we tried to convince people not to come. Fascinating. But so powerful that when I was visiting for my, as an advisor of the king, some countries, and saying I'm from Essaouira, I said, but the people were surprised I was not black, and I was not a Gnawi, because the Gnawas, they really delete everything else than the Gnawa identity when it comes to Essaouira. So I decided at that time to create, just to manage it correctly for the city, because the Gnawa are not just for Messaouira, they are everywhere in Morocco. But we took the responsibility to correct and to give a chance to this part of ourselves to retake over of its dignity, of its justice, and to make them really full citizens and to know more about what they are, giving to all of us as a musician, as a civilization, as a legacy, as an heritage. We failed with all the different approaches we were implemented before, but music was the miracle solution and scenario. So I created just again to said Morocco, Mogador Essaouira is the Gnawa, the place for the Gnawa festival, but it's not the end of the story. And I created the first chamber music festival in the south of the Mediterranean, the Printemps Musical des Alizés. It was 20 years ago. But the same reaction than with the Gnawa, saying people around in the press and everything. Mahler in the south of Morocco, in Essaouira, really, this guy, this time, is really mad, cannot work. And so, first edition, hundreds of people, then thousands, and then it became the South Mediterranean rendezvous for the really not only the amateur of chamber music, but the best. People who were expecting the best of the best. And it makes me so proud, and it creates the opportunity for my young fellow Moroccan compatriot to retake over also of this part of this universal part of what means to listen to music. And then I decided also to make sure one of my life dreams to create a festival where the stages were exclusively dedicated to musicians, to singers, to dancers, Muslim and Jews. Because I am an activist regarding everything about dialogue between Islam and Judaism, and giving also a chance for Jews and Muslims to be together, to sit together, to listen to each other, and to try also to mirror, to echo this mutual understanding or mutual respect, at least, to the Middle East. Saying or telling from Essaouira and from Morocco the art of possible. And so it was a Festival des Andalousies Atlantiques, you know it well. And I'm so proud to say that it is the only festival in the world where Muslims and Jews are coming by thousands together to enjoy being together, to play music together, to sing together, to dance together. It's fascinating. And again, music made a miracle. And for me, it's something which is so moving, so dear to my heart. And I am trying to explain that it is possible. And if you allow me to add one point also. At that time, Essaouira was in a when I started, in 1991, the economic situation of the city and the province was very, very gloomy, very difficult. The crisis was everywhere. And Essaouira, as I told you, was a city which was a really center of the Moroccan economy, of the Moroccan diplomacy, of the Moroccan international relations in the 19th century. And then becomes nothing, a zero-sum game. And I decided that again with culture, with music, and also with heritage and legacy, because anyway, it's a city where I mean the stones are everywhere. And I decided to make those stones telling us this brilliant history, especially regarding relation between Islam and Judaism, because Essaouira was maybe the only city or the only one I know in Islam from Morocco to Indonesia. Usually you don't have on the Muslim soil a non-Muslim majority. But in Essaouira, in the 19th century, Morocco was small, demographically speaking. The population of Morocco was around 5-6 million people at that time. And Essaouira was 22, 23,000. And the Jewish community at its peak was 16,000. So which means that Jews and Muslims have, I mean, they enjoy for a very long time, enough time to really have an impact, social impact, cultural impact, human impact. And I said, we have to maybe try to know more about that period and to see what finally was this achievement, the achievements and the result of this exceptional, unique porosity, bonds, links, daily life relation, spiritually speaking, economically speaking, culturally and humanly speaking, in this city. Because again, we have experienced something unique, and we have this. We are all of us from Essaouira, and as Moroccan, we have the responsibility to address this legacy and to also have the chance to discuss it and to share it everywhere when it is possible. And it's exactly what, I mean, we have experienced, and music played a key role. And let me add on this point that Essaouira, when I started, there were less than 10 hotels. And it was a deep crisis, economic crisis. Now we have more than 500 hotels in the city. Could you imagine? And the magic and the central, let's say, explanation, or the central, the key of this strategy was culture, music, heritage, and legacy. It works together. It's 4 paradigms, but it's one at the end.
Yes, so to finish on this point, I would like to maybe ask you about this experience of this daily shared life, and how you've taken also, it seems that so many of the works that you've done in the festivals are about bringing the micro into the macro, right?
Yeah.
So it's like bringing something that is the Gnawi, the Lilas, that all of a sudden it becomes this huge thing. The concert, the Judeo-Arabic, the intimate relationships between Muslims and Jews, and singing and making music becomes also a large thing. So this dynamic in bringing these micro level sonic encounters into the macro, and the daily, as a kind of a performance of the daily.
Yeah.
And that has an impact, a worldwide impact. So I would love to hear you talk a little bit about that.
Yes. In fact, as I said at the beginning, music catch us together when we fall, and it catch us together at the beginning to listen to each other. And it was something which was, I mean, so simple. I'm always saying that if you attend a music concert, could be Gnawi, jazz, Andalus, fado or flamenco, if you attend a concert with someone you didn't know before the concert, after the concert, you are different. And it's true. I mean, it's not something which is just naive by someone who loves music or a music lover. I experienced it, I mean, in my whole life. And you attended some of our forums at the Festival des Andalousies Atlantiques, the Judeo-Muslim Festival. There were always in the whole, I mean, in the 17 editions of this festival, there is a forum in the morning, which is very special. It's more than special. It's fascinating. You remember that I have often asked the attendants when they were musicians or singers, if you don't want to speak to be part of the debate, do what you want. You can sing or you can play your violin. And it creates a chemistry. It creates something so powerful. It's something you cannot, I mean, you have to experience it to understand. Words are not, I mean, something which will really tell what is going on during this event, this occasion of debating at Azoulay in the morning. And it's, I have also to tell you that at the beginning, even in my hometown, with its heritage, which its legacy, Judeo-Muslim legacy, it was not easy. I mean, people didn't expect that it could work first, and that it could change the mindset of the people, Jews or Muslims. And it was so quick, it was so deep, it was so durable, and it was so enjoyable. What else than music could really make it possible? I don't see anything or any other possibility to have this very, very powerful and quick answer to the major challenges our world is confronted to by our time. Why not to use it more largely? And you are doing in Cambridge and all the initiatives and the project you are associated to the Renaissance. We need it's impressive, but maybe together we need to do more. We have the key.
So much to be done, and so much potential, because people are so open to it. I mean, I remember the first time that I came to your office back, I think it was in 2009, and you said that phrase to me back then. You said, music, I tried it all. I tried it through all the different ways. It's only through music that it really works.
Yeah.
And I mean, that it impacted me in such a way when you said that, and it's carried through. It's true. There's something super conscious. There's something beyond that occurs that you have made magic with. So
Thank
it's
you. Thank
wonderful.
you. I mean, it was music who made the magic. And if we look on our memories, history, it was the case. And again, in Essaouira, which I know more than other cities or other part in the world, I see how close and how easy it was for the rabbis, for instance, to be together with the imams, the cantors of the synagogue, working together with the muezzin. And it was fascinating. As you know, I mean, the musical tempo of Bas in Morocco was the Andalus music, the ala, and ala. And when you were walking and in Essaouira, including in my childhood, I mean, you are hearing something of that kind in the street, but it was impossible for you to know, for me, to know if it came from a synagogue or a mosque. Could you imagine? One of the most famous Moroccan singers in the Andalusian music, Abderrahim Soueri, by today. He is also from Essaouira. His father was also a muezzin, but a great cantor. And he was trained and taught by a rabbi. And it is still, I mean, it is something we can see by our time. And, we have the Zawiya in Essaouira. We have 17 confréries, Sufi organization, Muslim Sufi organization. And Essaouira was Sufi by its Jews and its Muslims. And we know now, thanks to Beit Dekira and the archives we have already opened and we are working on, that the Kabbalah schools or experts, they were working with the Zawiya. So you have also this fascinating proximity and capillarity between the Muslim Sufis and the Jewish Sufis, which is so rich. And we have also to work on it, to know more about it. We need it. We need to know.
So with this, I say thank you so much. And we invite our viewers to come on Wednesday, March the 31st to the live Q&A. If any of the things here that you've heard have, you want to ask a question, then come and join us to the live Zoom and you can enter this discussion. We're very interested in having a discussion with everybody about all these things. Thank you so much for taking
just one word, Vanessa, if I may.
Please.
If I may, just, I mean, it doesn't mean that you have, I mean, people who are listening, they have to know that, I mean, what we are trying to achieve and what we have already achieved don't mean that we have to agree on everything. Mm-hmm. Music also allowed us to be diverse and to have different opinions, to have different understanding, to have different, let's say, philosophical or ideological understanding of many situations. And you can keep it as diverse as it was when you enter the room. But I mean, the magic of what is going on thanks to music and to Essaouira was, I mean, you agree from the very beginning to listen, to be in a position to listen to the other, even with its difference. And you don't ask him to be with you in the room, debating or listening music, just to be like the clone of yourself. And I think it's very important to know, because I mean, it's not something which is just, I mean, we are so open-minded, so good people. No, I mean, it's the real life, but with a different approach, which gives us the chance for so many of us, first of all, to respect the one we have in front of us, or even to accept different views without just fighting because of that.
Yes, it's this alterity and intimacy at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. And respect.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you.